Yeah, welcome to this live broadcast today. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate you guys for, especially those of you who are resilient and who have been consistent in the narrative of truth and effective in pushing forth and holding forth to and awaiting the coming of Mazen and Khan. I want to welcome you guys to this live broadcast. Today is Monday, the 20th of November 2023. We have about 3 days to the end of the month, and of course, at that point, we have 1 month more to the end of the year. This is Biafra Global Network. I want to appreciate you guys, and please, as you just join in, like the video and share on all your social media platforms. Today, we're going to be discussing critically, because you see, when we have knowledge, it proves that we can discern times and understand the processes of time based on the knowledge of what we know time would always lead us into. That is why it is very, very important and very, very important and factual to always stand on the path of truth, so that at every point in time you will be in line with purpose and you will be in line with expectation. When people are not on the path of truth, they tend to tell so many lies that before you know it, they end up constituting nuisance and becoming, stupid to their environment and to the generations coming. And they begin to say so many things at the same time and not being able to coordinate themselves in what they say. That's what lies make you do. I want to welcome you. Today is, as I said, it's a special day. It's the first day of the new week, the last week of the month. It is important for me to first tell you guys that not coming online always is not because we are not dedicated to the cause of freedom, or we are running, or we are lagging behind, or we are just tired. No, it is actually activities. Sometimes when you plan, you say you're going to do some stuff today, and before you know it, activities, daily activities, the way situations are everywhere, and circumstances around you trying to do 1 2 things around you. Before you know it, the time is taken away from you, and then you have to begin to schedule for the next day. And before you know it, so sorry, all this while I've not been coming on, but hopefully by God's grace you'll be receiving shorts, videos, and other things that will actually cover the gap, cover the hiatus. Be a hiatus to the issues of the gap, and then so we can continue. Welcome, please, as I will you send this video on all your social media platforms. Let people join you at the same time so that people can listen to this gospel and the narrative of truth. It is important for us to to talk about truth always, because that is what is driving us. Truth. We are consistent because we are truthful. Consistent people are people of truth. Watch the words of those who are not on the path of truth. You discover disparities, you discover inconsistencies, you will discover things that are actually not quantizing, contradictory, contradicting themselves here and there. And the purpose of today's broadcast is to discuss these contradictions. You see, when we begin to tell you people that there is a way to do things, and whenever you have tested a particular pattern and carried out a particular program in a design or in a pattern, and you discover that it is not working, you change tactics. Life is about changing tactics, and tactics is critical to achievement, because tactics define your strategy to what you want to do and achieve. That is why it's important for you to understand the place of tactics, and of course the role of being flexible in your approach to tactics. Before I go into the narrative of today's broadcast, I'm going to play a particular audio. Anyways, it's actually a video, but it's an audio basically because the people or the persons talking are not visible to you, but their voice is loud and clear. So we're going to look at that particular narrative from this audio, and then we are now going to talk about it. Please, I want you to listen critically to this.
My question is, Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of a government in exile, have said that Biafra is coming in 2023, which is this year. We have few months to go. And I want to ask if it is still coming, but what has been causing problems is when there are lies. And I ask questions, then people go to the next day.
I remember some of you are making brokers saying, I said 160 days or 150 days Biafra will come. Yes. The process of that 150 days Biafra will come. Have achieved its aim. What's the idea of 150 days is to throw Nigeria off balance during the election. We achieved it. We threw Nigeria off balance because of our country. They started calling Finland. They started inviting the ambassador of Finland. It started creating the highest global awareness on Biafra. We achieved it. If it is not because of the countdown I'm counting and the thing that I'm going to throw bomb in Aso Rock, nobody will even listen. They did not take me serious in the first place. It created the wave, the shock wave that almost shook the foundation of Nigeria from February to 2023, leading to one shambolic thing they say. They even forged the letter that the Prime Minister of Finland have ordered for the arrest of Simon Ekpa. It's because of the countdown 150 days. Countdown. Everything is a process. This is what we are fighting, is war of brain. Everything is not about what you said. It is a process, and the tactics that you must understand how freedom is being fought. Use what we call propaganda, a positive and realistic propaganda against your enemy, and that's what we have done. So now the 150 days has passed. The idea of 150 days is not that to declare Biafra. Your Biafra that.
Oh my. Now, I want to talk about that particular because I have been trying to avoid talking about that nonsense. This particular submission being made here, I've been trying to avoid it, but I discovered that there is no way I can avoid it. There's no way I can avoid it because it centers around the main reason why we came together and we accepted the name Autopilot, which of course was prophetically spoken by Mazin Namikano as a strategy or as a program for the new or for the next phase of restoration of Biafra nation. that was the purpose of Autopilot, as Mazen Namdekan spoke. But of course, when there was a narrative change, people started talking about Autopilot, and then it became like a very important way to address or to define people who are desperate to pursue the program of Mazen Namdekan and to continue the program. But of course, along the line, we discovered that most of our people are criminals. Hence, somebody like me stood for the truth. First, I was able to make everybody understand the plan to design currencies with the faces of the criminals, the one in Finland and the one in the USA and other people, including my face. And to bribe me anyways, they said they're going to include my face. So I don't know whether it's to bribe me or to make me agree, or just one of those things to agree to talk about anyways. But anyways, those are just one of those things. And then along the line, I also uncovered, and I was the one who started the issue of Ngozi Arabweze, which everybody is talking about today. Even the people who were on that platform, that's people like Odikenma and co, that Ngozi put on that platform of her sponsorship of Nigeria election, even if we are talking about no election in Biafra land. That platform, Odikenma and co were there. He was put there. He was using it to, he was being supported and sponsored by Ngozi Arabweze. He never said anything. They were there enjoying the loot, let me call it loot, and push himself. Odikenma is himself, one who is desperate. Whenever you hear him talk about cleansing of Biafra land, it is to make money. Whenever you hear him talk about any money, when he came to join the Account and Transparency Group, all he wanted is ESN in for him and Chidozie. The two of them will control everything. ESN and come into them is just for them to have control and to make sure that they are in control of the resources. And I said, no, it won't happen. And we threw a transparency group, and we said these people can transfer because they are desperate for their own selfish ends, and that was why he was removed. And today we hear he's going to cleanse Biafra land. What do you want to cleanse? We don't want to cleanse. Israel is bombarding today. Do they need to do any ritual? Destiny in their hands and carrying out the bombardment of the Palestine, Gaza. After they were just attacked and over 1,400 of them killed, to over 200 taken hostage and all of that. So they are taking their destinies in their hands. They didn't need to go to cleansing, but because of the Kenma, it's always desperate for money. He saw that of ESN is not working, so he had the narrative of cleansing, because when you come from the direction of religion, our people will fall for it. When you come from the dimension of ESN, our people will fall for it, because the people are just concerned about the security. 1, 2, they're concerned about in Biafra, based on the fact that we have said Biafra is a nation from Chukwu. So when you bring the issue of religion into it, definitely they will fall for it. So he thought he was going to try to defraud people using all those concepts. He was in that platform of Ngozi Arabweze doing all of the criminal things. They're promoting his show and all of that, seeing that Ngozi Arabweze is sponsoring the Nigeria election on that platform. He never said anything, including all the people with him, including the Mr. Ima on the so-called Simon's cabinet of exiled people who are in exile. He never said anything until I now came all out. I said Ngozi Arabweze is a Nigerian agent. I called Simon's attention to it. Simon tried to defend her, and suddenly, when I became, I saw that it was going to become a leak to him, and when it comes out critically, he was going to be said, "Oh, so you are part of this, and you never said anything." He now began to ask for, evidences. He went to one of the ladies who also was there on that platform, asking for evidences, to give them more evidences so that they can gather and nail Ngozi Arabweze. And that was what he tried to do. And after that, he came all out and started broadcasting and telling you he's exposing Ngozi Arabweze. After all the exposition, the next thing you saw was that he went into, joined them again, joined Simon group, joined Ngozi Arabweze again, and was campaigning and talking about how good they are, until they play smart on him also, because they are criminals. So criminal outsmart the other criminal. And then when it went bad for him again, he now started again trying to expose Ngozi Arabweze. What is he exposing? Nothing. He is part of the crew. He's part of those working for the Nigeria contraption. So that was what happened. And now basically the exposition of the facts of the connection between the Autopilot group members and Nigeria contraption is evidently seen in Ngozi Araboze. In fact, Ngozi Araboze is the total sum of the connection between the Autopilot and the Nigeria contraption. Ngozi Araboze is the icon, is the representation, is the app. Once you click her, you see every of them, Simon and Co. in that. And why did Simon embrace her? Because she was bringing enough money from the Fulani and politicians and from the Nigeria contraption. So he used her as his chief of staff. Some of you don't understand what chief of staff is. It's a very sensitive position. And of course, that all those their positions and portfolios are fake. They are just using it to defraud the people they're going to defraud. That's what they're doing. So you falling victim, continue to fall victim. We keep telling you, and that is why we keep preaching every day, because we want you to understand all of these details and then operate very well. Thank you so much, Ego. Good to see you here. I'm just beginning to see the message coming now. One, I thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Now we are going to go deep into this whole thing today, because the main reason why people embraced the Autopilot then was because we said we were going to sustain the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and continue in that narrative to make sure that he is out. And at the same time, once he's released and he's out, we're able to put pressure on the Nigeria contraption to release him. And as soon as he is released, together we're going to go into our freedom, and all of that's the essence. And the reason why monies were contributed, the reason why people were contributing monies and people still contribute money, is for the purpose of no election in Biafra land. That was the purpose, typically, and the purpose of that no election was evident. It was not supposed to be a propaganda. It was no election is no election. No election is not propaganda. No election is no election. That means there will be no election. If no election was propaganda, then there was no need to collect the monies of the people, saying you are going to get weapons and get every armory that is necessary and needed to stop the election in Biafra land. No need to say that you are buying this, you contribute money, we need more money, give us $1,000, give us this $1,000, and all of that. And so by the time you say we're going to end this whole thing, and there will be no election in Biafra land, there was no need for all of that. So when you begin to see somebody who is of double standard, you know how they talk, from their talk and from their utterances, you will come to know that they are criminals, and definitely it shows in everything they do. Now listen to this. I'm going to play this because whenever I listen to it, the reason why I decided I didn't want to talk about it today, or I have been struggling to keep it, but I just felt that I need to educate our people, especially those e-frogs jumping from one platform to the other. Anywhere they see my post, they run, come, then go wrong, come there, and go begin to abuse, insult. Anywhere they see me, because our prime minister, who are you? Our prime minister is this, our prime minister is that, and all of that. And all that's what they keep saying and talking about. Now, for the purpose of these people, because it is very, very important for us to continue to help them understand and help them to begin to realize that they are making mistakes and that they don't reason. And so to help them reason, we have to keep educating them. And of course, those of you who are standing on the path of truth will continue to send forth these facts and all of that. You know, somebody's asking who sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. From the operations of people and the activities of people, you will know those who sold him. From the way people try to displace him and in fact call themselves commander-in-chief and all of that, you will know those who sold him, and you will know those who actually are benefiting from the sales of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Or selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You know those who are benefiting. So asking me this question is like you just don't want to listen to what I'm talking about. Well, everything I'm saying points to the fact of who and those who sold him. So that's the fact. So now let's go straight to this. Now I'm going to play this particular voice message he made out of frustration and anger to one guy called Critic News. I remember when Critic News came up and talked nonsense. I think he mentioned me also. And because he has a large platform, people are watching him and viewing him. He mentioned me and mentioned other people and was talking nonsense and I began to, when people brought that to my knowledge, I was just laughing. I said, he calls himself Critic News. He doesn't know the meaning of being critical. To be critical, he gets a name that is beyond him. Thank God his so-called prime minister called him an illiterate. So that evidently shows that the prime minister knows that every one of them are too debased in their thinking level. That is why he used the word without mincing words or mincing words. He said, "You illiterates, like you cannot do this. Illiterates, like you cannot do that." Like this illiterate called critic news. He knows that these are illiterates. So when you call yourself a critic, when you call yourself critic news, you are supposed to be very, very versatile and very, very smart and very, very knowledgeable. But because the so-called criminal man in Finland, called the so-called PM, as they call him, is actually, actually knows them as people who don't know the implication of what their names represent. So he called himself critic news, not critical about issues and matters. You call yourself critic news, and men are complaining that funds are not coming to them as ESN. And the same person who says he is the PM and he is taking care of the men on ground was called to a meeting. To come to that meeting, we called them to a meeting. We said, these men are saying they are not getting the supplies. These men are saying they are not getting the weapons. These men are saying they are not getting the things they need to get. Rather than him coming for the meeting as somebody who claimed to be serving the people, representing the people, collecting the resources of the people, and to work for the people, he refused to come to the meeting. Rather, he went online to begin to blackmail people and call them criminals. That is what he went online to do. Now, this particular critic news never proved that if you are genuine, why do you begin to blackmail people that are calling for a meeting where we are going to discuss something that will benefit everybody? He calls himself critic news, but he couldn't ask questions, and he says he's critical. He says he's critic news. He says he understands what it means to be critical, but yet he couldn't be critical about this whole thing and this whole matter. Now, when the same person came all out with the issue of, when we brought the issue of Ngozi Orakwe and the issue of the Biafra currency and all of that, Critic News could not ask questions, but his name is Critic News. He had no understanding of what it means to be critical, to ask questions. Why have you collected monies from people and you said you are going to stop elections, and yet the elections are not stopped? You still have the monies. You have utilized the monies. What did you use the monies for? Oh, somebody will say he started opening different centers, call them liaison offices. Please, can you tell us one of those liaison offices that any of your people have gone into those offices and have carried and have seen the activities going on, and they videoed that place? They showed activities going on daily, people on their desk working as a liaison office and carrying out jobs, even the so-called headquarters in Maryland, USA. Have you ever seen anybody go there? The work is going on usual, and then the person goes and captures it and then shows you the video, puts it online, and say, for those who are not believing, see, our office is functional, it's running, and all of that. Have you ever seen that? Critic News cannot even reason to say, okay, let me be critical. Let me ask those of you living in the United States of America, please, one of you should try, go to the office during a working day and capture the video and speak from there, and speak to one of the workers and speak from there that this is so date and this is so time. I'm showing you here live now. The office is running. It is the headquarters of the so-called Republic in Exile. Government in exile. Sorry. And so I'm right here now live. And since he's called Critic News and he believes that he's everywhere, he has a connection to the so-called Autopilot people. He could actually have them to go there and then do that stuff. But he didn't ask questions. Rather, he kept on supporting the so-called criminal. I mean, the criminal in Finland. Now, the same criminal in Finland had a different impression about him. And when he now asked a critical question, this criminal in Finland now voiced the impression he has about Critic News. He called him illiterate. Illiterates like you. Now I'm going to play. Listen to it. Let's listen to it. Listen to the question. The criminal in Finland asked news, the so-called critic news, the criminal in Finland. Listen to the question.
My question is, Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of government, have said that Biafra is coming in 2023, which is this year. We have go and still coming. Problems is when there are lies, and I ask questions, then people go to the.
Now listen, that is the question he asked. His question is, the so-called PM, as they call him, with that portfolio, says that Biafra is coming before the end of 2023. And that is what he said. Every one of you heard it when he said it loud and clear. He said, through Azuka and other people and himself, contribute more money, give more funds, because Biafra will be restored in 2023. He said this 2023, it will be restored. And Critic News was one of those people who heard it. That is why he's asking this question. Everyone around, including those who are on the media platform, you know, including every one of us who are there, including me when I was there with them, you know, we heard it and we all knew, or we all were told that it would happen. We were not told it is propaganda. We were not told that it was just a way of trying to destabilize Nigeria. We were not told all that. We were told it is going to happen. Tell people to contribute more, get more people to bring more monies, because it is going to happen. The plan here is that there will be no election, and then after 150 days, the people will enter into their freedom. That was the narrative. Now let's listen to the reply of this criminal in Finland. Just please, I want you to take your time, because it's great. Let me just listen to it.
Remember, some of you are making brokers saying, I said 160 days. Oh, 150 days Biafra will come. Yes.
Did you hear that? Some of you are making broadcasts, linking it to Critic News, because he's one of those making broadcasts, and including those ones who are on the Autopilot media crew, including all the e-frogs. That means he's referring to, when he says some of you, he's referring to all these people who are promoting that, because I'm not promoting that anymore. We promoted that, and when we saw the criminality, we stopped and we ended it. So now he's talking about those people who still believe in him, but who are now beginning to ask questions. One of them, Critic News. The others are not asking questions. The others are eating from the loot. So he's asking. Some of you are saying that it's referring to all the e-frogs under him, and this is where he's going to qualify all of them. Now listen.
The process of that this Biafra will come have achieved its aim. What the idea of 150 days is to throw Nigeria off balance.
Now, can you listen to this argument, everybody, please? I want us to be reasonable here. Now, some of you might say, maybe I don't like this guy because somebody sent me a message. I've been receiving several messages. Why don't you like Simon? And I begin to wonder why someone will be asking me why I don't like somebody. It doesn't mean that when somebody is stealing from you, or you find a criminal in a system, or you find someone who is committing treasonable felony against the leadership or against the leader of the nation, you just have to, because you like them. So it doesn't mean that we have to have selective judgment or selective criticism or selective approach to the things we do, because when it comes to justice, there should be it should be equality and equality at all times. Equality, equality, it should be equal. So when you talk about not liking someone, I don't understand. Do you hate your child when you beat your child for what they do wrong? No. When they do something critically wrong, you correct them or you beat them because you want them to understand the right thing and know the right thing to do. And you don't keep quiet because you like your child. You allow your child to get spoiled or get your child to become a stupid person or a fool by allowing them carry out actions that are not reasonable or things that are not actually going to be profitable to their lives. So you try to correct them, you try to scold them, you try to discipline them when necessary, and all of that because you want to achieve something. You want your child to be a good person in future. And that is why some of us who were treated that way, we were beaten, we were chastised, and all of that. We grew up to understand this we should do right, this we shouldn't do, this we should do. And so even when we have our own children, I will begin to tell them this is the right thing to do, this is not the right thing to do. And some things that we refuse to do now at adult ages, not because we don't have the capacity to do them. When you see some of us who refuse to tell lies or who refuse to join criminality or begin to join to steal your resources, as you come to Simon, it's because we believe that justice is what we want. We believe that truth must be adhered to, and that is how we grew up. We grew up to understand that truth is only what makes anybody free. No other people, no other thing can free a people other than truth. So it came from training, from background training, and of course, from parental training, and of course, self-discipline also. Because some people can be trained and at the point they lose it and then they get out of hand and all of that. So it comes from that point. Now, here is a question asked, a simple question from the Critical News, who has been a henchman, some home training with truth. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Ego, for that. That's it. And he said since it didn't happen, he should refund the monies. He won't refund it because Madam Oyibo, as they call her, has not refunded hers. Nina has not refunded hers. Others are collecting. They have not refunded. So how can he refund? He knows that the narrative is continuous. The narrative is just that way. The Biafrans will always allow it. They will only look for excuses to justify their frustration and their inability to ask for what they have given already. And because they are frustrated and because they cannot ask to get what they actually are supposed to take back, which has been stolen from them, they end up getting frustrated. And all they do in the level of frustration is to look for things to justify their action, just to make themselves have a sigh of relief. Just feel that okay, at least we contributed this to get ourselves free. We are hoping that freedom soon. They look for an excuse to justify their frustration based on the fact that they are so mentally low and debased and so self-insecure that they always hope that somebody else will do things for them. And when that person defrauds them, all they do is now they begin to look for a means of consoling themselves in their stupidity and in their frustration. Now, let's go further. Now, here is Critical News, who is supposed to be critical about the things he posts and the things he supports. He, of course, according to his prime minister, he is an illiterate. That's what his prime minister called him. And all that's working with him, he said they are illiterate. All of you are illiterates. That's what he called them. So definitely, he proved that he's an illiterate when he kept supporting this program until when it is already gone, until when the stealing has been maximized, until when the year is just 1 month to end, and all of that. Now listen to this. The response here becomes shocking because what he said here is that some of you said, I said 150 days and all of that. And if you listen to his voice, the tone of his voice, you'll discover that he also don't want, he's so angry that his people who believe in him should be voicing such kind of things, asking him such questions. So he was reacting angrily because he expects them to be stupid and to be quiet. Who gave you the order and the right to ask me such questions? So he was responding to Critical News with that anger and bitterness and very, very angry about him asking questions. You are supposed to be dumb. You are supposed to be not to be smart. You are not supposed to wake up and ask questions. That's what he was trying to tell him from the tone of his voice. He was telling him, you are supposed to be dumb. You are supposed to be a zombie. You are supposed to continue to be an illiterate you are. You are supposed to continue to follow me without asking questions. Why? What is giving you this impetus to ask me questions right now? What's giving the impetus? That was the tone of his voice. Now listen, you're going to get the facts from the tone of his voice as he responds to critic news in this matter. He said, yes, what he did was to destabilize Nigeria. That's what he said. Mr. Onye Agulam. Okay, Ajulam. Is it Ajulam you want to write there? Or because you wrote Agulam. This was Ajulam. Onye Ajulam. Okay, now listen. He said that the purpose of the 150 days, okay, okay, you have corrected it. The purpose of the 150 days is to put the Nigeria contraption off balance. Lord have mercy. Now let's look at this. You collected monies consistently from last year, June 2022, June, and you told the people the purpose of collecting these monies is to buy weapons and to fund ESN, Eastern Security Network, to equip them to the teeth, to make sure that when the time comes for the election, they will be on the streets to engage the contraption, the zoo forces. You said that people should stay off the streets. That was why the curfew was called, or the lockdown was set. The purpose of the lockdown was to clear the people from the way so that the ESN will engage the Nigeria zoo military being sent into Biafra land. That was the purpose. To do that, for the ESN to do that, they needed to be equipped to the teeth. They needed to be given weapons. They needed to be given everything that is needed, which means that the money is being collected. We're supposed to feed them and to arm them. Two things fundamentally: feed them, arm them. And the resources was not for you to criticize or to begin to recreate your own militia, but to sustain the group created under the auspices of IPOB by the leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as the leader, has instituted a program that would help to restore or to carry out every military activity or every security activity, then what you do when you come into the system is to make sure that you sustain that program that he has designed, because he's the leader. Instituted. It has been launched under the organization and all of that. So that program already is there. That means everything you need is on ground. Said that we are autopilot mode. What he meant is this: everything needed is on ground. ESN for security. People, the so-called election program already present and available for there to, as a weapon to really work, stopping, engaging Biafra from Nigeria. That means everything needed to make sure that is on ground. Is that to on Biafra land, to defense that stoppage. That means ESN becomes there to make sure that the stopping of the election is carried out to the later. And then the reason for the curfew or for the lockdown is the people, the common people, the citizens or the civilians to leave the streets so that the men who are going to enforce the no election will be on ground to face those who want to cause, who want to steal, or the Nigeria contraption forces who want to still continue to, make sure that Nigeria is in control of that territory. That was the purpose. The monies collected was to feed the men, was for logistics, and also to arm the men. That was the purpose. Now you are telling us here now that You just had to use it as propaganda. Now listen further. Listen, everybody.
During the election, we achieved it. We threw Nigeria off balance of our countdown. They started calling Finland. They started catching the ambassador of Finland. It started creating the
I now understand.
highest global.
Now I now understand. So from what he is saying now, he said that what he actually meant was to throw Nigeria off balance, and then for them to begin to give him attention. Because what he is now saying is that they started calling Finland, they started talking about him, they started calling Finland, they started moving around, they started talking. That means his name started going everywhere, because when they come to call Finland, definitely his name will be everywhere. So the reason for that particular narrative, no election, in his mind is to create awareness for himself, for his name. As he said, remember, he said that he wants to be popular, he wants his name to go into the books, he wants to be famous. So he actually collected your resources and promoted himself with your monies meant for ESN, so that Finland government will have their attention on him, so that the globe also will have their attention on him, so that everybody will begin to talk about him because he has given an order. So the purpose was to promote himself and to make the globe know that there is someone in Finland called Simon Ekpa. So definitely he played smart on you. Remember, he's going to tell you one thing there as I play it. You will hear when he said it's all about brain. That means he outsmarted you guys, and they talked about no election and that Biafra will be restored in 2023, not because he meant to restore Biafra in 2023, but to promote himself, as Ego has said, to pump up his ego, to make sure that he becomes popular, as Finland is contacted by the contraption and Britain and other people. His name will be going viral. Finland is contacted because of him, because you cannot contact Finland without mentioning him. So he wanted to have global attention and global status. So all he needed to do is to mislead you and tell you that there will be no election and that Nigeria will be crushed, and that by 2023 Biafra will be restored, so that you can bring the monies which he is going to utilize, which he told you he's going to use these monies to get weapons and to take care of ESN. And the purpose of taking care of ESN was to take care of ESN. It's not for nothing else. It is not to now choose some you will take care of. It is to take care of the ESN, because ESN is already existing. He doesn't have his hand in the formation of ESN. So if he comes into a thing, all he needed to do is to take the resources of the people and promote and take care of the ESN, which Mazin Ambikan has established. Because if Mazin Ambikan has established them, the personnel, and approved of them, it means that he has actually received satisfactory information on ground that these people are, and they were showcased, and they were in activity, actively, effectively. And all that Simon would have done is to come to make sure that he sustains that program and see how he's going to work with every one of us to make sure that we push this thing forward, and that Mazin Namdekan's legacy will not be destroyed. But rather, he took the monies, he chose some of the men who will be loyal to him. You'll learn it from here. You will hear his voice where he's talking about being loyal to him. It's about him. Everything he spoke on this voice audio is about himself. Oh my God, Simon. Now listen.
Awareness on Biafra. We achieved it. If it is not because of the countdown I'm counting, and they think that I'm going to throw bomb in Aso Rock. Nobody will even listen. They did not take me serious in the first place.
They did not take me seriously in the first place. Everything is about me. As God said, me, I, and myself. Me. Promotion. He achieved it. He said it. I achieved it. They began to call Finland. They began to call everywhere. And he succeeded in promoting himself. Now, how do we know this? If you remember, during that period, all he does is he will now tag who is trending. He will now screenshot it on Twitter, post it to you. You'll be jubilating. Oh, Simon is trending. He takes from Facebook. Oh, who is trending? All of you will be jubilating. He is trending, and you'll be pumping money. But you never knew you were helping to promote him and to give him a platform so that he will no more wash or take care of old people anymore in Finland, or work menial jobs in Finland, so that he will have his name on your head, and so that he will be making monies from you. Remember when one media platform in Finland asked him a question, who is funding you? That Biafrans are funding me. They are funding the organization. Which organization? Enter Biafra. So look at them, they are all intertwined, linked. Biafrans are funding me. This is not Biafrans are funding their restoration. Biafrans are funding my organization. That's what he said. He said, who is funding you? He said, Biafrans are funding, Ego, thank you for reminding me that. My organization. Now you see, Biafrans are funding my organization. Now, what did he say here? He wanted them, you see, he achieved what he wants to achieve. That's what he's saying here. He said they started calling Finland. Why are they calling, or were they calling Finland? For his name to be mentioned over and over on social media, and then he becomes popular, and then he now trends. And then he started screenshotting, showing you all of them. I am trending, I am trending, I am trending. This guy said that he succeeded in defining 150 days. He told the people they were going to see Biafra. So the seeing of Biafra is, in other words, translated to mean his popularity. So if you said 150 days, people are going to get Biafra, and then you said after counting that 150 days, they started writing Finland to talk about you, so you succeeded. That means the getting of Biafra means you being popular. That means you are actually the program you coded, or you coded to mean. Let me use the word coded. You coded to mean Biafra in this instance. That means the Biafra you actually talk about was a coding, which of course, let me give you this instance. When you talk about malwares, all these hacking program on the internet, when they send you a particular code, oh, watch this XX movie, or this blue film, or this blue film, or something. Oh, watch this, you will make so money, you get so data. They code something and they send it to you. Once you click it, suddenly they hijack your account. So what you thought you were going to see, before you know it, you start seeing your account. Somebody is telling people to donate and to do some stuff using your account. And that's how they clone your account and clone accounts and clone accounts until they steal from all your contacts. It is because you clicked on that code. So what he actually did was to paint a mirage using the Biafra, and then make you click on it. And then as soon as you click on it, the next thing is he hijacks it. He gets the popularity he wants to get. He gets the attention he wants to get. So the Biafra he said he was going to get, he said he has achieved it, which means that making himself very popular is the success and the achievement of Biafra. Listen.
It created a wave, shock wave, that almost shook the foundation of Nigeria. From February 2023, leading to one shambolic thing they say. They even forged a letter that.
Listen, they forged a letter.
The Prime Minister of Finland have ordered for the arrest of someone.
It is all about him. They even forged a letter that the Prime Minister of Finland has written a letter for the arrest of Simon Epa. So it was all about Simon Epa. It was all about Simon Epa. It was all about Simon Epa. So the whole narrative of I will give you Biafra in 2023 is about getting attention, being very popular and trending on social media and also amongst nations. As soon as he achieved that, he said the purpose of screaming Biafra and saying it is coming in 2023 has been achieved, so that they wrote a letter to Finland. That means she was able to penetrate them, to talk about him consistently, concurrently, and also to get to understand the powerful, become very powerful from that end. And so all he did was to utilize and take the resources that belong to you guys. Use those money to promote himself. He mentioned it. They even wrote a letter. Now, you see, when people are criminal, they won't even know when they are just exposing themselves. Look at it. He did himself and talking about himself and linking himself to the narrative of thing. We see that him is what he meant by restoring Biafra in 2023. What is wrong with all these morons then? All these morons who are busy they are under spell. Yes, I believe that, because Simon Azuka and others are doing spiritual work on their followers. They did some spiritual work, and whatever they say, you must take it. That's why he was angry that Critic News was asking this question. Why? Who gave him the impetus? He's supposed to be under spell, but it's like the spell is clearing from his eyes. So his impatience made him respond to the guy, insulting him. Now you're going to hear the insult he gave to the guy. Listen.
It's because of the countdown, 150 days countdown. Everything is a process. This is what we are fighting, is work of brain.
Work of brain. Did you hear that?
Everything is not about what you said. It is a process and the tactics that you must understand.
Everything is not about what you said, but the process and tactics that you must understand. That means the impression I give you, just believe it at that point in time and take it the way I said it. It is not about what I say. It's about what I have in mind, not about what you should understand. That's what he's saying. And you morons, that illiterate, as he called you, are still praising him because you are under spell. He said here, it's not about what I say. It's about my tactics. That means about what I want. Don't you reason? Or do you need an extra brain? Or the brain God gave you is so insufficient? You need another extra. You know, when you eat, to say you're not fed, you go for an extra. You need extra brain to understand the lines or to read in between lines, as simple as this is. It is not about what I say. That's what he said. Not about what I say. It's about what the tactics and the approach. He didn't even know how to place his words. He was just jumbling words there because he didn't know how to explain this thing. And that was why he didn't know when he started insulting. He knew when he was insulting the guy anyways, because he said it over and over. But he had to go that lane of insult because he needed to make his followers, the others who have not yet fallen out of the spell, who are still under the spell, to say, yes, he's an illiterate. They will not concentrate on that word, illiterate. They are illiterate. That's why they're asking that kind of questions. How can someone ask you a critical question about what you promised them and you said they're illiterate? And now, in this particular audio, you will now hear why he called you illiterates. You will just keep listening. We'll get there.
how freedom is being fought. Use what we call propaganda.
This is what they call propaganda. That means he must daze you, he must put you in confusion, he must put you on the level of the zoo and the enemies. Because all of you must understand one thing: you should not understand what he wants to do for himself. You should understand the way the zoo on. So he must tell you what he tells them to take money from you, at the same time to also create a propaganda against them, against the zoo, and also deceive you and create propaganda to you also, so that you can release funds. So he makes the money and at the same time gets the results from the zoo. The zoo promotes him. He makes the money from you using that particular propaganda that he poses called Nigeria. So you see, the tactics is double-edged. It's a double-edged stuff. It takes money from you. It also helps him get that attention through the narrative of the Nigeria contraption. Now listen.
Positive and realistic propaganda against your enemy. And that's what we have done. So now, the 150 days has passed.
150 days have passed. Listen.
The idea of 150 days is not that to declare Biafra.
Did you hear that? Wait. I hope some of you don't have cotton wool in your ears. He said the idea clearly, because he knows you're under spell, so you will not understand that language. He believes that no matter what he says, no matter the stupid things he says, and anything he says, you would never reason. Your brain is locked up in a pot somewhere in one shrine. Your brains are padlocked and the key has been thrown into the ocean. He said the idea of, as he puts it, let me put it in my own way, the idea behind the 150 days is not about proclaiming Biafra. Then the big question is, what was the idea about? What was the idea about? Common sense. The idea, as initially he has been talking about, the idea is about promoting himself and making himself popular both in Finland and other parts of the world, and to trend and to build his organization that he said you are funding. And that organization is Enter Biafra Network, where he had now closed his stuff on YouTube and closed every other platform, and have manipulated you guys and make you believe that YouTube is against him. He now brings everything on the platform and said you're going to be watching from his platform, so that all the monies will be coming into his platform. YouTube will not take any share. He's so greedy and so selfish that he needs to create a platform. Now, nobody's against anybody creating platforms. But when you are a desperate person and your intention is not pure, your intention is desperate, then the whole narrative or the whole idea of what you are doing is faulted. The whole idea of what you are doing is faulted. He said the idea behind the 150 days is not to stop the election or to give you Biafra in 2023, but to promote himself so that the Nigeria contraption will begin to write to Finland, begin to write everywhere, and then he will begin to trend and he'll screenshot and send to you, and you'll begin to say, wow, PM, that's our PM, he's trending. Yeah, he's 2 million views, that views, and all of that. Look at the program they call Convention. Every time he goes there, he looks at it, wow, we have reached 2 million views. He screenshot it, it's trending, 2 million views. And all that program is about himself. You see the show there, it's about Simon. Hey, everybody's hailing Simon, blah, blah, blah. It's all about him. He organized a program to showcase himself to the world, and you paid for it. How stupid you people are. Because everything that was said in that program, he has been saying it on broadcasts. So what is the essence of the program? Simple. You saw him lifting his hands and jumping, and everywhere, he was everywhere, showcasing. Everybody's hailing him. He sits down, everybody stands around him, and they are having selfies with him and all of that. That was a way of promoting, and he told you people to pay for that show. You paid to promote him. You paid to organize a program to sell him to the world, not to get Biafra. He said it here that the idea is not about giving you Biafra. As simple as that. I know morons will not understand. Please share this broadcast on all your social media platforms. Like the videos so that people can hear this and listen to it. Getting Biafra in 2023 has become propaganda. The person who told you. So he has been waiting all this while to wait until November so that he can now tell you that it is propaganda. So that he would have collected your money from January or from last year until now. He knows that he would have collected enough. So if you stop now, he has nothing to lose. He has made enough. He organized the grand program, the convention, to make sure that you pay for it. Both VVIP, VVVVIP, and VIP, and poor people session and everything. Just pay, and then you go and eat and all of that, and sleep in hotels, all of you. And he lodges Ngozi Rabuzi and other people, and all of you carry those you lodge, and all of you do all the nonsense, and you pay for it, and he makes very money from it. He promotes himself. He becomes very popular. He promotes everything about himself, and all of you are just the victims. Oh my. Now listen, this is where he now comes to tell you some stuff. Listen.
Biafra that was did not declare since 1999.
Listen.
I'm going to declare it between 2022 and 2023.
Listen.
The Biafra that you could not get from 1967 is.
Listen.
This Amonepa that is going to declare it between 2022 and 2023.
Did you hear that? The Biafra that Ojukwu could not declare between 1967 and 1970, or could not succeed to could not actually sustain. Let's put that way, because he declared it. That he couldn't sustain, or the one who was Rike could not declare between 1999 to 2007 or so. Is it he himself, Simon Ekpa, that will declare it? So all this while, he knows that he doesn't have what it takes to declare Biafra. So all this while, oh Lord have mercy, all this while, you see, I'm just picking my words one after the other so that it will sink. So that it will sink to your brains. So all this while, this guy, this criminal in Finland, knows that he doesn't have the local standing, he doesn't have what it takes, he doesn't have the ability, he doesn't have the impetus, he doesn't have the balls to declare Biafra between 2022 and 2023. He still told you that he knows the day Biafra will come, that in 2023 it will come, that before, just watch it, count 150 days, you're going to get it after that. Now, what was he trying to achieve if he knew that he cannot get it, he cannot declare it? Then what was he trying to achieve after 150 days? What has he been trying to achieve, building, telling you that he's setting up liaison office here and there, and telling you about the referendum convention and all of that? What is he trying to achieve? That becomes a big question. End it with this question, so that from tomorrow we're going to dissect this properly. I'm saying that Isiku and Lazuriki, he didn't want to mention Mazin Amekano because he doesn't want to go step on people's toes. He says these people declare. Is it he himself that will declare it? Then what was he trying to achieve when he told you to contribute monies, stop election, and to declare Biafra? Because he said he was going to declare Biafra. When he said he was going to declare Biafra, what was he trying to, the meaning? What message, what was he trying to achieve if he said that? But tell them all these ways they collect their monies. That's what we're saying. He gave a very sensitive information to the people so that they personally release their funds. Now, knowing that he has collected the resources enough to establish the businesses, establish what he wants to do. Azuka has gotten her own. Azuka first dropped out, they pretended, and then she dropped out so that she will go out of circulation. Nobody will be asking about monies anymore. Nobody will be asking her of, come and give account on or the other. She just goes silent and begin to eat her own money. Now, he now comes with this narrative to tell you that if this could not declare and that could not declare, then who am I to declare? What then is the motive behind this particular message that he has been given to you? And even on that day of their convention, when he said that they will bring Nigeria down and they would end Nigeria, what was he trying to say? But he's still trying to make you understand that it's a gradual process. That means he's still telling you that it is work in progress, so that you will keep contributing. What are the monies for? To sustain his militia, so that he will be using them continuously in Biafra land, making noise and using it to collect money from you. Because when he tells you they're doing water, you will keep giving money. You think you are making progress. You keep giving money. You keep dancing around. Oh wow, water, wow, water. You keep giving money. We're going to continue tomorrow on this. Hopefully, we're going to continue. I will have to stop here for now because it's already 1 hour 6 minutes. Thank you all for being part of this. Please like this video and share on all your social media platforms and let the people join in and listen to the truth. We're going to have the part 2 of this continuing tomorrow because we're going to conclude on this particular, because there's so many things to bring out from this particular message here, so that those e-frogs and those people whose brains have been locked up in the cagey, dingy dungeon of stupidity will be free and will be delivered from such level of stupidity. I want to thank you guys, and I want to thank you, Ego, and everyone who is standing on the path of truth. Thank you all, and God bless you. Very good.